There's Exeter.
Does that make a quorum?
I think we were there before, but we're just.
Happy to,
Yeah.
Merry Christmas, right?
Gretchen, when you introduce, can you just say it's being recorded?
Absolutely. All right, then we're gonna get started here at 2:00, and this meeting is being recorded. We're here at the, City of Dover City Hall, for our members meeting. This is the full group of members meeting, to discuss funding for, our upcoming year. So, we'll go around, should we go around the room or just do the, yeah, let's go around the room and do who's present. So Gretchen Young, Environmental Project Manager representing City of Dover.
Katie Ambrose, Deputy City Manager for the City of Rochester.
Jennifer Perry, Public Works Director for the Town of Exeter.
Harry Damaris, City Engineer, City of Portsmouth.
Suzanne Woodland, Deputy City Manager, City of Portsmouth.
Dennis Messier, Town of Newington.
And Melissa Paley, Great Bay Piscataqua Waterkeeper with Conservation Law Foundation, representing the Stakeholder Committee.
All right, with that, then we will dive right in. So the first, item on the agenda is the approval of the September 9 member meeting. So, just to be clear, I passed out in the email, I sent both the minutes from the executive committee meeting and the, September members meeting, and right now we're approving the members meeting from September 9th.
So I'd make a motion to accept the members' meeting minutes.
Second? All right, motion and second. We'll do we need to do roll call vote? No, all right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Excellent. Okay, second order is review of the executive committee annual contribution recommendations. So I can, Katie, do you want to go over that? Or do you want me to go over them?
Are you just basing off of the cost allocation shares?
Well, I was thinking, here, I can do it, I just threw it to you since you would do a lot of the financial work, but I can go over, the items that were reviewed and, the vote that was taken to just kind of cover what we did discuss in the executive committee and then open it up to see if anyone has any questions or would like to, discuss any items further. So, at our executive committee meeting, there was, approval, I'll read through each item that was approved. $6,405, estimated for website development. There was approval for $50,000 to, continue to work with Brown and Caldwell on their, prep engagement and their help in the overseeing, some of the work that prep is doing for us. There was approval for $50,000 to work with the, PTAP, the Pollutant Tracking and Accounting Program set up, with DES, and that is to handle some of our tracking and accounting. There was approval for, there were priority groups that were outlined in a memo from Brown and Caldwell outlining some work, and so there was approval for $234,100, covering the priority one of that memo. There was an approval for an additional $7,300 to do a muscle watch program that was out of the priority group 2. And there was another approval of $75,000 to do seagrass monitoring annually, and that was also unanimously approved. There were other items that were discussed, but nothing was approved. So the total amount for the Municipal Alliance members came out to $422,805, with the individual allocations based on flow of $120,835.75 for Rochester. Portsmouth was $176,088.68 for Portsmouth. Dover, it was $100,000 and $12,908.15. Newington was $6,966.67. Rollinsford, $3,603.45, and Milton is $2,402.30. So with that, I will open it up for any conversation or discussion of additional items from the members, particularly the members that were not, although I don't see any members that were not on the executive committee. Is there anyone from Milton or Rollinsford here? I do not see them. Great.
So I'd make a motion then to accept the recommendations for the annual contributions as described.
Second.
Do we want, can we hold off on this and go stakeholder comment,
Sure.
public comment, and then we'll go to the vote, although I do appreciate you doing that. But, let's, with hearing nobody, from the members, I'd like to move to item 4 and, open it up for some stakeholder comment.
Okay. I'll take it back.
Okay, sorry.
I just want to support the really, I think just an ambitious and, earnest set of programs that you're talking about supporting this year. It's really impressive and quite a lift for your communities. My question is whether you're going to invite other, regulated communities to participate in the monitoring activities, even, the non-MAM communities, for those that are, that have opted into the permit and will be similarly, impacted by the outcome of the performance over the next 4.5 years.
So I'll take a stab at answering that. I would love, we do reach out to other communities. We would love to have their participation. We also have asked both PrEP and the DES that's working with PTAP. So those are the two programs to do their own outreach because, they're not with MAMs, to do some other outreach. I don't know that PTAP has done all that much because I think there's still discussion about potentially having a user fee or something. So, here we are, we're going to do the first year, get the ball rolling, and then see how that shakes out. As far as the monitoring, I don't have an answer, but I'd look at Cullen's. Cullen's got his hand up, so I'm guessing he can probably answer.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. I'm also really supportive of the measure and appreciative, just what Melissa said, echo her words. In terms of your question about some of the other communities, we have been reaching out to both regulated and non-regulated communities. I believe we're close to an agreement with Somersworth. And I've reached out to other towns, Durham, Epping. I have a meeting with Newfields coming up. I've reached out to Stratham. So we're doing what we can. As I've said in past MAM meetings, my dream in the next few years is to do a much more comprehensive job of reaching all these communities. It shouldn't just follow on the communities with wastewater treatment plants. So we're doing our best, but it's going to take a couple more years so we can get all 52 towns. But I have communicated with 5 or 6 additional towns. And as I said, Somersworth, Durham, Newmarket as well is contributing in lieu. So they have donated data-sons to the water quality program instead of dollars. Happy to answer any more questions.
I think, Melissa, also to follow up on that, I think once we get through this piece, I probably will spend some time and really try and see how it's all breaking out, just so that we all know, based on, kind of how it's landing, how the, in lieu donations and and stuff like that, just sort of get a ballpark of how everyone is doing for our own just knowledge and understanding. All right, stakeholder,
We, have not had a meeting since the last, meeting of MAM.
okay,
Still poking along on trying to identify a site for a pilot, but don't have anything to bring to your attention at this point.
okay. All right, well then, finishing stakeholder comment, I'll open up for public comment. All right, seeing none, then we will go on to item number 6, which is the vote on the final recommended annual contribution for, calendar year 22.
So now I'll make my motion at the right time.
Yep, no, great.
I'll second that.
Second by Dennis. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. Then the next, scheduling for the next meeting, this will be a good discussion. So, what I had envisioned, based on some comments that people had emailed, is really diving back into what we had for our adaptive management plan, which we pulled together 6 months ago, and see kind of where we are. Are we on target? Any modifications we need to make? Anything we need to step up? So I think that is going to be a real kind of a work group meeting, and I was hoping to do that in in January at some point. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so,
All right.
Sherry Young is, in the waiting room.
Does anyone have anything else they'd like to add to that agenda for our upcoming meeting, our next meeting?
I just have a question.
Yeah?
On the 6-month review
Yeah.
of AMP.
Yep.
Do you have an outline of how I can start to develop that? You,
Yeah, you know what I
Rochester,
do?
Dover, Portsmouth did it, a couple of months back?
Oh, yeah, you want to do your update on your?
Well, I'm assuming it's a 6-month review, right?
What I was gonna do is take our adaptive management plan, which is all of the stuff that we said we were gonna do, like, you know,
Okay.
working with PTAB, and we were gonna start doing all of these different things. And some of it actually was pretty specific, especially with, some of the research work and monitoring
Okay.
that we were gonna do. So I was gonna say, let's go through, let's see how it's actually fleshing out versus how we envisioned it to flesh out, and see, you know, make sure
Okay.
we're on track. If you would like to do a community update though, similar to what we did in September, I think that would be awesome. That'd
Okay.
be awesome. So,
I just need a basic. I've
Yeah.
never done one.
yeah, I can work with you, probably talk about some of the redevelopment projects that Newington has going on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that would be cool.
Okay.
Carla has a comment.
So this year, and we're trying to do a new cycle where we get together as the Piscataqua Region Monitoring Collaborative and meet around June of every year to talk about what the following year is going to look like. And oftentimes these conversations also involve, so if we meet in June of 2022, we'll talk mostly about planning for field work in 2023, but that will also involve some conversations about following years, right? Working with Brown and Caldwell, we're trying to do more seeing around the corners and thinking longer term. So those conversations usually are really about research and monitoring priorities, as well as conversations about money and how existing money might be going down or going up. There's some talk that there might be some more money coming to PrEP through the federally passed infrastructure bill, as an example. That could be discussed. If that happens, that could be discussed in June at the PRMC meeting. So I can't really figure out in my head how that relates to your, Gretchen, your planned meeting in July, but I want you to be aware of it in case somebody has, you know, their brain is working better and says, oh no, I see how that this meeting should happen first rather than this meeting. So that's the only reason I bring it up.
No, that's really helpful, Carla. I think, so in January, we're gonna do our update, and I think it'll be helpful for you too, to kind of take a step back about what because you helped develop the adaptive management plan, a lot of that. So it'll be helpful for you, and then that'll really kind of focus the work from there to June, and then you'll have your PRMC meeting ahead of our 1-year review, which would.
Perfect.
Yeah, so I think the timing actually might be appropriate.
Great.
So good. Go figure. Yes.
An item.
Yes.
So now that we're moving forward, with the budget as recommended, I anticipate that Brown and Caldwell will need us to enter into an agreement with them fairly soon for 2022 work.
Yep.
So we could either add that to the January agenda or discuss that today, whatever our preference. That's a due item.
I would just,
I think
Do we approve that? And
I think we could authorize
Yeah.
the development of an amendment to the contract or a new contract, depending on how we do it. I know I have a draft that maybe Attorney Steinkraus sent me in terms of like a way to have Rochester be the fiscal agent for that contract. But it's the MAM, if you will, obligation and commitment behind it, so to speak. So I think we could easily authorize that now, that we'll put it in place and report back to the executive committee what the structure is, if that works.
Yeah, I think so, yeah, because I know we had talked about, in looking at kind of the legal realities of NAM.
Yep.
But also wanting to, bring that arrangement more under the realm of NAM as well at the same time.
Yep.
Seems like the best course might be for Rochester to enter into the agreement as fiscal agent with Brown and Caldwell, and maybe establish some sort of MOU with NAM as well.
Correct.
Yep.
Address all of those items.
okay.
We could certainly bring that draft to the
Yeah,
January
let's
meeting
do
and
that.
Great?
So
tick
do we
that one
want a
off.
motion to authorize that work, or do we think that you could just do that?
I think Brown and Caldwell may have enough money left still, that if we just get our ducks in order in terms of paperwork, then we could just submit the paperwork for the collective group to look at in January, and
Yeah, so that's January, we'll approve it.
That sounds good. And then I guess, procedurally, do you need authorization, like, to do the website development? Or, like, do you need specific items, or is it just pending, Rochester getting the money from the communities?
I think it's just pending Rochester getting the funds, but also we'll follow through with a supplemental appropriation on our end as well.
Yeah.
So we can accept the funds now that we have the amount, so we can set that up structurally.
Seeing it's approved, if you wanna send an invoice, my next commission meeting is December 15th,
Okay?
third Wednesday is at the 15th.
Might be a
And
little
then-
bit after that, and I also know that we have some budget cycles too
Yep.
that we're waiting on too, so by the time we get a supplemental.
Mine's a lot cheaper than
Yeah.
147.
I'll follow up with you and, once we're ready for an invoice, I'll let you know it's coming down the pipe.
Okay,
And then will we need meetings in order to approve will we need an executive meeting in order to approve the paying for, like, the website development, I guess is my question? Or is it because it's approved now, once you have the funds, you can go ahead and go ahead and move ahead with that?
I say it's been approved part of the budget, so
Yeah,
Yes.
I agree,
yeah.
I agree.
I think
it's a line item and
we would be comfortable with moving ahead unless we saw some major change in scope
Okay.
or cost, and then we would bring it forward for discussion.
Perfect.
And I think we can just work on the back end, on the documentation, to make sure it's satisfactory to the sort of finance side of the house in Rochester, and.
Yep.
Great.
Excellent. Okay. Anyone else want to add anything to our next agenda? Members? Then this is going to be a quick meeting. Which is
and I
fine.
and I pumped the meter full of quarters, I knew this would happen.
Oh.
All right.
I
Dover needs the money.
Yeah.
Charlie
that's
Reynolds
right,
needs
that's
the
right.
money.
We'll go pave Broadway for you.
We got another garage to build.
Yeah. All right, well then, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
I,
Excellent work, so adjourned.
now, I put in to be on the Public Works and Environment Committee, so I think I'm probably gonna call,
Oh, cool, good for you.
is that Kaylee, Calais? I don't,
Color.
Carla,
yeah.
thank you all for attending.
Yeah, it's pronounced,
But I think they're going to be, well, we're already in prep, and so at least he'll get money,
Yeah,
so.
yeah, it's good. I think you're right, I think that's going.
Well, I think that's why the city manager, Belmore, didn't want to jump into this, because they feel they're already paying.
Carla, are you all set? Did you have, you good?
no, I was gonna help Dennis with the pronunciation of my name, but that's cool.
Sorry, man,
No, Dennis, it's a crazy name and doesn't sound like it's spelled, so it's not your fault.
Well, thank you all.
All right, take care, everyone.
Bye, everybody.